I mean, being part of Nextdoor, it's just it's offered me a chance to be able to voice my opinion and get stuff done in the community. Raise awareness to a lot of issues we having, especially in North St. Louis.
What I do, it benefits me a lot because I do lost and found pets, and I use it like almost daily, and especially like dogs that go missing in the neighborhood or cats. We can post it immediately and all your neighbors see it right away, and we've reunited quite a few that way.
Is the St. Louis Hills neighborhood.
Yes.
Is Nancy here from St. Louis Hills?
No, she's gonna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's gonna do it.
Okay, perfect. And last but not least, our neighborhood champion. Drum roll, please. The Southampton neighborhood. Represented by Adam Wright, Dee Dee Brady, and Donna Ash.
Thank you. Also, by the way, if any of you all want to say anything when you're up here, I don't want to put you on the spot, but feel free. I know a lot of people don't want to. Yeah.
I think the spot's right here.
Yeah. I don't want.
I just want to say it's great to meet a lot of you in person. I've probably interacted with a bunch of you on Nextdoor, and it's great to put faces with names. And I want to say how great this has been for our neighborhood, and I imagine for everyone, in bringing people together. And probably there's a lot of useful ways, but we were just talking about this out front. We live in old houses in our neighborhood with unique problems when you go to fix them. And to be able to ask about Neighborhood Watch, lost pets, or what's the original paint color for this house supposed to be when I refurbish? Yeah. It's been great.
Good.
So.
Excellent. Are you good? Yeah.
To our hero awardees, we were overwhelmed, blown away. This is one of the largest groups we've had in the past 4 years, so we're really excited.
Yeah.
Our first awardee is Loretta Heiner of the Southampton neighborhood. Loretta was nominated because she worked to increase the swimming hours at the 12th and Park Recreation Center. She recruited neighbors to utilize the city asset as well, so we appreciate her for that. Loretta also works for the Affordable Housing Commission. She loves the city and she uses her free time to make neighborhoods stronger. So congratulations, Loretta. Our next awardee is Donna Aggie from the Southampton neighborhood.
Oh, you're back again. Awesome.
Donna was nominated because she's a very engaged neighborhood lead and committee chair of the Neighborhood Association. She's constantly providing information on neighborhood questions asked on the site, such as crime prevention tips, business information, how to request city services, and more. Her active participation in Nextdoor has helped reach over half of the households in the Southampton neighborhood. Our next nominee is Stephanie Moore. I'm not sure she made it in. Is she here? Oh, there she is. Perfect. Stephanie Moore is from the Shaw neighborhood. She serves as a coordinator for the Shaw Community Center. She's constantly engaging her neighbors on Nextdoor, whether it's sharing information about the children's holiday party, informing neighbors of car break-ins, or connecting neighbors who want to provide snacks for the kids at the community center. Her nomination said she is a true treasure, and we are lucky to have her in both our online and physical communities.
Yeah. Put me on the spot. Every once in a while, it's like Russian roulette. I'm going to pick somebody and put you on the spot for 10 seconds.
Well, why do you just spin and just pick the next person? Okay.
You can just say hi.
Hi, thank you. It's nice to be recognized. This is the neighborhood I grew up in, and I've lived in my neighborhood for about 37 years. So,
awesome.
And it's thanks to my wonderful neighbors.
Yeah. You have a great neighborhood.
Our next Our next awardee is Joseph Fazio from Carondelet. Not Fazio, but Fazio. From the Carondelet neighborhood. But it's spelled like Fazio.
Yeah.
Joseph was nominated because he is the block captain for the 6600 block of Alabama. He helps everybody in his neighborhood without hesitation. Nothing is too big or small for him. He has helped neighbors by cleaning parts of the alley and streets to helping with masonry on people's houses or taking down trees and weeding yards for his neighbors. He's even given out of his own pocket to help out neighbors in a financial bind.
First, I want to thank Lewis Reed and Mary for putting this on, and who else was involved. The sandwiches were great. Those wraps, one was spicy and one was not. Yeah. My wife loves the cookies, by the way. I just wanted to say that, well, first of all, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Jesus and my being born again. I just want to say that, when we, and I know you all already know this, but when we care about our streets and our alleys, just the trash even, it helps keep the crime down.
Yeah.
And if you see someone, picking up stuff, compliment them or something and encourage them. When I do it, I think it inspires other people to do it too. Whether someone throws their garbage in the alley instead of in the trash, or they put it in the yard waste dumpster, switch it back, different things like that. So thank you all for it, and I appreciate it. Nice to be here.
Our next awardee is Camille Edgar of the Soulard neighborhood. Camille was nominated because she helps visitors and residents find different places in the neighborhood. She's a strong advocate for the Soulard neighborhood, and she's even taken on the role as a guide for the neighborhood. Our next awardee is Fred Andres, also from the Soulard neighborhood. Fred was nominated because he's worked tirelessly to preserve the historic character of the Soulard neighborhood. As an original drafter of Soulard's historic code, Fred serves as a vital voice on Nextdoor for maintaining and upholding the standards that make our city truly unique.
First, I'd like to thank the Academy. But just thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and it's an honor to see the standards still being held up after 24 years of implementation.
Our next awardee is David Holloman of the North Point neighborhood.
You gotta eat a little more.
David was nominated because of his contributions to the neighborhood by assisting other neighbors in reporting issues and utilizing the CSB services.
I'm still in shock. I mean, it's social media. I appreciate it. I do. I'm just glad to be able to have an outlet to get some stuff done on the north side. The north side has been forgotten for years. So I want to bring the north side back, especially Baden. We got to bring it back. So thank you again. Thank you.
Next up, we have Tina Rowe of the Marine Villa neighborhood.
Go Tina, go Tina, go Tina.
Tina was nominated because she's the resident animal lover. Tina has helped several of her neighbors reunite with their lost dogs. She always goes above and beyond to help find lost furry friends.
So if you ever lose a pet, look me up.
Yeah. She's good at it.
Or if you want to adopt one.
Yeah. Our next awardees is Ryan and Latanya Barnes of the Grand Bates neighborhood. There's two of them.
How you doing? Congratulations.
Ryan and Latanya were nominated because they used their civic-minded savvy and sterling graphic design skills alongside a small, like-minded tribe of creatives. Neighborhood couple Ryan and Latanya have single-handedly taken the initiative to brand the historic Grand Bates neighborhood with its own logo, hats, t-shirts, flags, and website.
You got anything you want to say? I would hardly say it was single-handed. Kate and Jeet Chada back here have certainly been a big help, as well as Krista and Andrew Wanko and Robert Myers. I'm not sure if anybody else is here, but we've got a great team of volunteers that help us out. And I'd also like to just shout out to Greg Veneman. I know you're coming up here in a little bit, but we really appreciate you patrolling our neighborhood as well on the side. So, thank you all. Thank you very much.
Our next awardee is Dan Blust. Is Dan here? If he's not here, I'm going to go ahead and read his anyways. Dan Blust is from the Grand Bates neighborhood. Dan is in the heating and cooling business, and on Christmas, a neighbor's furnace suddenly went out. They posted on Nextdoor asking for help. He responded immediately and offered to repair it on Christmas. Within hours, their furnace was fixed free of charge. Save his number. Our next nominee is Jane Frederick of the Central West End neighborhood. Jane helps to spread the word about Nextdoor to fellow neighbors so that they can stay in touch with happenings in the neighborhood. She helps to point out areas of safety concerns as well. Beyond safety, she's shared coupons for dining and fun events in the area, as well as introducing people to neighbors. The person who nominated her felt so welcomed by Jane that she decided to buy a condo in the Central West End and make the Central West End her new home. Jane is a true cheerleader for the community. Our next nominee is Jessica Bueller of the Skinker de Bolivar neighborhood. Jessica was selected as a Nextdoor hero because of her work with Syrian refugees. It all started with a Nextdoor post. The person who nominated her said, "I don't know her and I don't know what her connection is, but she is a wonderful advocate for these refugee families trying to get back on their feet and create new lives for themselves in our neighborhood. Through her work, she is having an impact on the lives of families and children for years to come. In my book, she is truly a hero."
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for this fantastic honor, and also to let everyone know, when we first did this post, we found out about a group of refugees that were in need in our area, and I didn't know very much about Nextdoor at all, so I went ahead and made a post to let people know what was going on in our neighborhood. After we did, neighbors came out in droves to support these families, and with what started out with a single post has now turned into an organization of over 700 volunteers. Yes, so thank you very much, and I just want to let everybody know, if you see something in your community that needs help, you don't need an invitation to do the right thing. Thank you.
Our next awardee is Pastor Troy Spencer of the Fountain Park neighborhood. Pastor Spencer has worked in the community to help young people get a fresh start by cleaning up their community and helping them get jobs. He has also hosted the Juneteenth event from 2006 to 2017. He's the former block captain and the founder and former president of Neighbors of Fountain Park.
Thank you for this, but I couldn't did it without the other members of the group. Pamela Talley, she's somewhere around here. and Miss Allen, and Henrietta. If I could break this apart, I would give every one of them a piece of it. So I couldn't did it without them. Thank you.
Next, we have Rodney and Juanita Norman of the West End neighborhood.
Which side you want?
Rodney and Juanita are a driving force in keeping the block and surrounding areas clean, yards beautiful, and uncluttered with debris. These two work tirelessly to improve the West End. They are very supportive of small businesses, well-informed, and caring neighbors.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to say something. There have been comments about calling CSB, calling the city. I work for the city. I work in the mayor's office, and I take constituent calls. So if you've called the city, you may have talked to me. So I'd just like to see a show of hands of how many people have called the Citizen Service Bureau before.
Yes.
No, that's not enough. Every hand should be up. That number is 622-4800. So that should be your point of contact when you have an issue with the city. And when you call, we need your name, we need an address, and we need a phone number, because so many people call, they won't provide that information. That allows us to contact you if we need a clarification or if we just need to follow up. In addition to calling, you can go out to the city's website under government. You can click on alphabet C, go to CSB. You can chat, you can tweet, and you can also create an online CSB. And the beauty of doing that, you can attach pictures, okay? So I just want everyone to make a commitment. When you have an issue, I want you to call the Citizen Service Bureau. And don't be rude now, because if I'm on the phone, I don't want you to be upset with me. But no, that's not a problem. We understand. You know, we just have to work through that. But it's important that everyone takes ownership of where they live. We have to be willing to put the neighbor back in the hood, because so many of us live in neighborhoods where we really don't know our neighbors. So if we're going to make a difference in this city, we have to be willing to work together. Thank you.
Our next awardee is Rich Feedy of the Holly Hills neighborhood. Is Rich here? I will go ahead and read his nomination. He was nominated because he helps neighbors out on Nextdoor when they are in need, and he does his best to keep the community informed of news in the area, and he even provides a little bit of humor on the website. So that's for Rich. Our next awardee is Garrett Roche of the Holly Hills neighborhood. Is he here? Garrett? No. So Garrett was nominated because he helped out a neighbor who was hit by a hit-and-run driver in Carondelet Park. He even stayed with her family and helped her out while she recovered. Next is Greg Veneman of the Holly Hills neighborhood.
Greg brought his own cheering section back there. You had your own cheering section back there.
This is the second award for Greg. He was an awardee last year as well. Greg was nominated because of his involvement and leadership with the very successful Neighborhood Watch program in Holly Hills.
We're still trying. Is this one? We're still trying to measure that success. That's a work in progress, but I would not be here accepting this unless at least I had some of the Rat Patrol with me. I'm receiving this on behalf of all of them because we're just, like all of you, concerned citizens, and we decided to take it upon ourselves and just watch out for our neighbors in a more literal sense. So I appreciate Nextdoor having this event, and all my Rat Patrol buddies over there.
Rat Patrol, raise your hand.
Including Mr. Butts and George and Stacy over there. Crawford, thank you guys. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Greg.
Our next awardee is Phyllis Allen of the Lewis Place neighborhood.
Miss Allen, how you doing?
spends hours helping to watch out for her neighbors. She helps to keep everyone informed and urges the community to enroll in Nextdoor. For the last several years, Phyllis has spent countless hours working to organize the community Christmas party and toy campaign.
I would just like to thank everyone for this award, but it's just not me. It's a slew of people to help me with the children and the Christmas party. And it's a slew of my neighbors that we watch out for what's going on around us. So I just want to thank you.
Our next awardee is Jonathan Floyd of the Lafayette Square neighborhood. Jonathan back there. Jonathan was nominated because he has brought in over 300 neighbors onto Nextdoor from his neighborhood. Next, we have Russ Bierman from the Lindenwood neighborhood. I don't think Russ can make it. Russ helped out a neighbor in need when she was looking for exercise equipment for her recovery from surgery. Russ donated a piece of equipment to the woman free of charge. Next, we have Nan Carl from the Clifton Heights neighborhood. Nan helps feral cats and is active in the Trap, Neuter, Release program. She helps to inform the community about the feral cat colonies and population. She informs them about responsible no-kill shelters and rescues for different animals.
Well, we already have an animal lover in the room, and I'm very grateful to the city of St. Louis for passing legislation that allowed us to trap, neuter, and return cats to the neighborhood. I can't tell you, I have 2 wonderful cats that live on my front porch. My neighbors aren't always happy about that, but I'm glad that the law protects me with that. It's wonderful to be in a city that allows that. Thank you.
Next, we have Tom Reitenbach from the Tower Grove Heights neighborhood. Okay. Tom is a longtime resident of Tower Grove Heights and has given his time. This is not Tom. Deborah was the one who nominated Tom, and we also want to recognize Deborah because she herself has brought in 214 people to Nextdoor for her neighborhood as well. But she nominated Tom, and Tom is a longtime resident of Tower Grove Heights. He has given his time and expertise over the many years to support the area by volunteering as the webmaster of the neighborhood website and serving as the distribution director for the neighborhood newsletter, The Gazette. He also serves as block captain and organizes the block party. And last but certainly not least, Sierra Simrel from the North Point neighborhood. Sierra, I think, is still at work.
Yes.
And so you're her mother, right?
Yes,
okay, so this is Cleo.
This is her twin. They look so much alike.
And 20 years younger.
Yeah.
Sierra was nominated because she always goes the extra mile, from helping find lost pets to crime tips. She also helps to keep the community involved.
That's it?
Yep.
That's it. I just want to thank each and every one of you for what you continue to do to make St. Louis City a great place to live, work, and play. And the work that you're doing in your neighborhoods to stabilize your neighborhoods and to continue to grow them, that's no small task, right? A lot of times you have to be the bad guy. You have to be the bad person and tell people things that they don't want to hear. You know, but growing up, when I was growing up, anytime I wanted to go someplace, I want to go play with my friends, whatever, my mama used to always say, go clean the backyard, right? And I'd go clean the backyard, and I think I did a good job. My mother would come out there and point out every piece of paper I missed and make me clean it again and again. And everyone, I'd look at her and say, well, you must not like, I was thinking, you must not like me. But here's the deal. No, mama loved me. And that's what love is. Love is telling people things that maybe they don't want to hear or they don't feel like it's fair, right? But you have to tell them things, and you have to help them move to a better place. And that's why I like Nextdoor, because Nextdoor, opposed to Facebook and Twitter and all those others, when we put something out on Nextdoor and solicit information coming back, understand that we really want information coming back. If you don't support it, great. We need to hear, not just, it's a horrible idea, get rid of it, period. That doesn't help us. It's a horrible idea because of A, B, C, and D. That helps us, right? Because we can refine it and make it better. A lot of people, when they become elected officials, they go downtown and think they have all the answers. That is not true. There's a lot of brain power and a lot of life's experiences locked up in Nextdoor and locked up in the people that are on Nextdoor. And it's absolutely essential as we go through doing the business that we do, all of us together, we work to have better, more inclusive solutions that take into account all the various different variables, and that's how we build a great St. Louis. Short of that, if it's just the things that I want to see or just the things you want to see individually in this envelope without bringing in any new information, by its nature, it's failed. By its nature, it's a flawed system. So I want to thank you for all your involvement. We're going to be putting out more information on Nextdoor about board bills that are coming up and stuff. And I know, and I know it makes some of the legislators and people over in room 200 a little bit nervous because you're getting more information coming back. But guess what? Don't be worried about that. Take it and make it better. I mean, that's our job, to take it and make it better. So, you know, it's so important to communicate and have those lines of communication coming back and forth. You can't hurt my feelings, and if you can, I need to do something else with my time, plain and simple, right? So I want to just thank you all for what you've done and what you continue to do to build neighborhoods all across the city. 50,000 strong now across the city of St. Louis City residents. And finally, I just want to say thanks to all the staff and each and every one of you that made tonight possible. We're going to continue to grow our city. We have some important issues coming up. You know that we passed the clean energy resolution, so we're going to be ready for 100. You all have heard a lot about that. So we're going to put some information out on Nextdoor because we have to put a commission together, right? And that commission will begin to help guide us on how we become ready for 100. So if you want to be part of that commission, throw your name in the hat as soon as we get it, as soon as we put the information out there, because we're going to go through those names and begin to put together a commission to advise us on Ready for 100. The other thing, you heard a lot about the airport, long-term airport lease agreement that they're looking at, and they're called privatization, right? So one of the things that I'm going to be pushing is a community group that helps you advise and oversees that process. And I think that's important because you get so much more information coming back in, right? And the job of that community group is to go back out, publish information, and get their neighbors and other people involved. So as we move through that process, and if we indeed decide to enter into a long-term lease agreement, it's going to be one that works for all of us, right? Or if we decide not to, it's going to be because we all said, you know what, on balance, that's not a good deal for us as a city, right? But it's so important that you weigh in on those things. And on public safety, we're pushing a bill right now to require the city of St. Louis to have a public safety plan, right? But not just a public safety plan based on some national best standards, right? And also, you know, have one that's measured. And on an annual basis, there's a report that comes out of that commission that says this is what's worked, this is what hadn't worked, and so on and so forth, right? That's so important because we have to drill deeper than just saying, okay, this is the neighborhood where we see a lot of crime. So, okay, now that you understand that, now what do you do to change that dynamic? And it's not just about putting more police officers in there, right? And you all know this. That is one of the things. But there are other resources and other things that have to go into play there to begin to change the dynamics of that neighborhood. And finally, I'll say this. My mother used to talk about growing oak trees, right? She said, if you take a oak tree, you know, a seed, and you put it out in the middle of the desert, and you come back 5, 10 years from now, guess what? you're still going to have desert. You're not going to have a grown oak tree. You're not going to see a sprout or nothing there, because the environment is not an environment that's hospitable. And that's what we have to think about. But if we take that same oak tree seed and plant it in an environment where it can grow and thrive, we'd come back and see this massive oak tree, this beautiful tree, right? And we have to understand that our neighborhoods are those environments. And these kids and people that are in it, and that's why it gets me so excited to see all of you, because you are a part of creating and changing those environments so that we'll see a different St. Louis. So I just want to thank you so much for the work that you do. Thank you. Anybody else have anything burning they want to say before that didn't get a chance to speak? Can anybody out here tell us one quick story on how you're using Nextdoor to do some of the things that you do and kind of an innovative way you're using it? You good? Everybody good? All right, there you go. Just one more and then we'll wrap it up. Thanks, Coffee.
Hey. Hello, everybody. My name is Coffee Wright, and I joined Nextdoor, I guess, a year ago. And I joined because I was able to put on St. Louis's first Juneteenth parade and celebration, and Nextdoor was excellent for that. And Juneteenth, to me, for those of you who are not familiar with Juneteenth, it's America's second day of independence, like 4th of July. And so it's a holiday for everyone, and I use it to let people know, because it's been a holiday since 2003. And still, when we do surveys, 8 out of 10 people have never even heard of Juneteenth. And so I'm really excited about it, because it's about information, support, networking, and of course celebration and some entertainment. But anyway, I just want to say thank you all. We have it at Beckett Park at Page and Taylor. And Pastor Troy has joined me with that, and I appreciate it. But anyway, everyone is welcome. It's a everybody thing. I believe in the power of togetherness. So please do come out and join us. I'm Coffee Wright, and that's right, I said it.
Thank you all so much for coming out. Let's hang if you want to. And the other thing we need to try to get as many people up here close as possible. Let's try to do that picture that we did a couple of years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, where we have everybody kind of up here, and then we get a picture from there next door so we can post it.